Hey there, welcome to Abundant Source Raw. Got some Altafel mangoes, of course, and got my little compost pile. About 3 days worth of food. I just kind of toss it on the ground until my mom asked me to pick it up. But I think I'm going to talk a little bit about escape mechanisms and escaping your reality, because I've noticed it a lot in myself, and you know, it's something that pretty much everybody does. I've been on Facebook quite a bit, which is an escape from reality right there, and I've been seeing you know, some vegan friends, raw vegan friends, posting some things, and then you'll get a few people, usually something against meat or the meat industry, and then you get some people commenting saying, well, you know, meat makes me happy. You know, I feel great when I eat meat, and it makes me feel good. And of course, we know that's not the truth. Meat is highly toxic and will not do anything good for you, but you know, it's an escape mechanism, and it's just like anything else. It's just like coffee or alcohol or drugs. It lets you escape for a moment, and then what happens after the escape? It felt good for a little bit. It tasted good. You know, it gave you a little high, a little sensation in your brain, and then now what happens? You're depressed. I mean, why is the food making you happy in the first place? It's because you're unhappy. How can anything make you happy unless you're unhappy? This is, you know, kind of the basis of, I'd say, you know, Zen and everything that I really talk about, God and the source, and which is, it's all the same thing. I just use different labels, you know, for different people's preferences and whatever people want to call it, but it's just about being neutral, and it's just about being, not being happy or unhappy. It's just about being, because that's what you truly are, and that's when you'll get the most blissful joy out of everything, and you'll be able to see reality for what it is. And if you feel like you need something like meat or anything else really, TV, almost anything you could say is an escape from your reality. Even these mangoes, these sweet, juicy, delicious mangoes that are the food for humans, is something that I'm using to escape my reality right now, because I'm really not that hungry. I know it's not really a great time for me to be eating mangoes, because I already just had a big watermelon and a little bit ago, and I'm really not that hungry. I'm just a little bored, and it's nice out, and I should probably just be sitting here kind of meditating, but even though I'm already pretty full, I feel like I should be eating something. I feel like I want to be eating something, and I just am not allowing myself to digest. So I've been seeing myself overeat lately, even just on the fruit. Even when I'm not hungry, I just eat out of boredom. That's kind of my big escape right now, is that if I'm bored, then I typically just grab more food to eat, even if I'm not hungry. You know, I used to think meat made me happy too. I loved eating a good steak, or, you know, some shrimp or seafood. You know, sushi used to be my favorite food, and I thought sushi made me so happy. And then I stopped eating meat. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I looked back at when I was eating meat, and I was like, I was so dang depressed. And these things were just escape mechanisms. They were just something to boost me up a little bit because I was down. Why would you need something like that if you are already okay? But I also understand there's a lot of confusion and disconnection in the world, and so people don't know what they're doing, and they have been fooled and led to believe certain things, and they've never felt what true happiness and what true health feels like. So it's not, we can't really blame them. You know, most of us, unless we were lucky enough to be raised in a vegan or vegetarian household and got the thing enjoyed meat for a lot of our lives, especially me. And so that's why I can't really understand how a lot of these vegans can just be so hateful and so non-understanding of these people who eat meat. They don't know any better. They were taught that this is good for them and that this is healthy and that this is, you know, that we're omnivores. And there's just this massive influence for eating meat and dairy. And so I don't know how you can blame them. And we were pretty much all subject to the same thing at one point. And that's why it's so important to educate in a loving way, because there's pretty much no one that has ever changed their ways by you calling them an idiot or you calling them out on something. All that happens is their ego defense goes up and, you know, they get reactive and they don't think straight because they've just been attacked. You've just attacked them in their logic and their reason and, you know, possibly their religion, and they don't even hear what you're saying. All they see is red and that you're attacking them. They can't even think straight. So it's almost never beneficial to just tell somebody they're wrong, because automatically they get defensive and there's pretty much nothing you can do at that point. It's all about loving education and you know, just putting the word out there positively and coming from a way of understanding. Just like most of us have all eaten meat and we know what it's like to think that we are supposed to eat meat, and then now that we turn vegan, all of a sudden we think that meat eaters are idiots or something. But we were in the same way. It's just a reflection of ourselves. And you know, I like how Nature Boy puts it, they are past life. We're basically talking to our past selves. We were in that position. We're trying to get you know, our past self or our lower self up to our higher self. We are basically the higher self reaching out to our lower self, or you could say our past self, and you know, lifting them up. You don't ever want to put them down, because that's you. You're putting yourself down. If you're attacking somebody, then you are basically lowering the all consciousness, the conscious source, and that is lowering, you know, you're a part of that. I mean, this whole being here, this whole human experience has nothing to do with what you really are, and you're really disconnecting yourself by putting other people down in that way. And you also have to understand that a lot of these people are in pain. They think these things are making them happy, but it's because they're in so much pain and so much, you know, a depressed state, and they have so many responsibilities and so many things that just are kind of trapping them and enslaving them. And so they feel like they need a way out. Nothing about our society is natural, and nothing about it, you know, is very supportive to the individual. So of course we're going to see things like poverty and theft and things like that. Our society promotes it. It's almost impossible to have a monetary system and a society set up like ours and not see these you know, so-called terrible things. And people think it's just human nature or something, and that it's just the way it is. But humans created this behavior with our own, you know, with our own dark side, because we started, you know, eating cooked food and getting disconnected. It is not natural behavior to, you know, be psychotic or to want to harm others or any of that. Natural behavior is being connected with everything and feeling love for everything, because you can feel that everything is you. But unfortunately, in today's society, we can't, because we have so many disconnects, so many things that are just blocking us from feeling that now all we can see and think about and all we feel is this body and this mind, and, you know, this is me, this is me, this is me. Well, it's not. It's actually holding you back from yourself because of all the disconnecting things that we're doing. And it makes it almost impossible to just trust what is and go off of faith. And you know, even I have very little faith right now. I know that I'm doing the wrong things. I know that I should be just eating sweet, juicy fruit and, you know, not too much, because that's what makes me feel the best. I know this, but, you know, I've been eating a lot of salads and avocado and stuff like that, which is disconnected affecting me, but that's an escape as well. I haven't been as kinda in the Zen mode as I have been in the past, and it seems like I kinda go in and out of that, and I haven't been meditating as much and, you know, just staying as connected as, you know, I was in the past. And so now I'm working a job out of fear that I know I shouldn't be working. I'm in an environment that I know that I shouldn't be in, and it's all out of fear because I'm disconnected, and right now I've just got too little faith. I'm trying to get to Costa Rica here in a couple months, and I'm supposed to be going with you know, maybe a couple friends, and I would like to have my own money and be able to support myself, and so this is fear kicking in, and I am always very aware when I'm doing something out of fear or love. Most people don't really even think about it. They just say, oh gosh, this is happening and I have to do this, otherwise I won't have this, or this will happen, and they don't even think, wait a second, that's coming totally from fear. I just need to stop and be faithful and trust myself and trust the source, which is myself. You know, I will provide for myself. The source of all things will provide for me if I am providing myself to the source. You know, it's all about just letting go of everything, dropping everything, and giving yourself up to it. But I still have this fear, and we all still have this fear, and it takes a lot to be able to overcome it. And so, you know, I'm struggling with my mind a little bit right now, and I know a lot of people are, and I wanted to make this video because I felt like I needed to kind of get it off my chest, and I also just wanted to, you know, give you something to relate to, and just to know that I see you, and I see your struggles, and I know how it is, and but you just got to know that, you know, all paths lead to the source. All paths lead to the same place. It would be nice if we lived in a society that supported the truth, but unfortunately right now we aren't, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But you know, we're all going to the same place, and that's kind of what you got to remember, is that we're all gonna get there, and in fact we already are there. We just can't see it, and nothing's gonna turn out the same way you planned, and that's why it's like I'm looking at myself and what I'm doing and thinking it's so silly, because even if I have this job and I start saving money, you know, nothing comes out the way you think it's going to, and I've always found that if I just let go and let things happen, that they just always flow very nicely. And when I think, oh, okay, I need to do this because this is coming up and this is happening or whatever, then I do that out of fear, then usually I have a lot of roadblocks and things like that, and it just doesn't go as smooth. We've been very programmed, and we're even in a society that highly praises thoughts and, you know, the intellectual mind, and it goes against our whole being when we get too attached to this, and our thoughts become escape mechanisms, and we let our thoughts control our lives. And so our attachment to thought is really the greatest disconnector, I believe, that there is, because most people don't even think that it's possible to stop your thoughts. A lot of people just think that, you know, you have to be thinking, and that, you know, just thoughts are impossible to stop. And it's not true, but because of all the programming and how society is today, you know, we just praise the thoughts, and we praise the intellectual thinker. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, intellectual thought, but if you're praising it and you think of it as something great and, you know, something that's high up on the pole, then you're going to have attachments, and you're going to have some suffering because of those attachments, and you're going to think a certain way. I mean, the most arrogant people and ignorant people that I've ever had conversations with are the people who think that they are so intellectually, you know, superior, that they just they praise how logical they are, and they think very highly of themselves because they have, you know, such a smart mind, and it's impossible to show them anything almost. They're already too set on their own mind's greatness, and so it's nearly impossible to teach them the truth. And it's funny because the logic that they're using is really not even logical at all, because their whole foundation is off. Their whole, what they're finding, you know, what they founded their logic on is flawed and is not true. The whole basis of their intellect is a lie. So what they praise as logic is actually incredibly illogical. But like I said, the mind is a huge escape mechanism, and the bigger the ego is, then the more escapes you have, and you can just basically run from the world and from who you are with your thoughts. You know, and that's all an addiction is. It's an escape mechanism. You know, addiction is just, you know, basically a term for somebody who's trying to escape their reality with some sort of substance or something that disconnects them and blocks them from feeling what they actually are. So I just wanted to make this video, one, to get it off my own chest and make my own self feel a little better, a little selfish, but also I want you to notice your own tendencies and your own escape mechanisms, and I really want you, more than that, to realize when you're doing something out of fear or love, and to know that, and experiment with it, and to find out that anything that you ever do out of fear, whether it's because you think you need money, or because you think you won't be able to find food, or because you need just whatever, a place to sleep, or anything like that, because you feel obligated in a relationship, or, you know, you got friends who you don't want to let down or something like that. Anytime you do something out of fear, I want you to catch it and just say, you don't even have to really at first say, okay, I'm not doing this, because a lot of us aren't even at that level. Even if we discover that it is fear-based, most of us aren't at that level to even say, I'm not doing it because it's fear-based. But I do want you to notice, like, okay, this is fear-based. I'm a little too afraid to not do this right now, but I can see this is fear-based. And then if you do take the action towards fear, then just, you know, discover what it's doing to you. And then someday, when you're doing something out of love, even someday you'll get to a point where, even though you're scared and there's that fear, you're going to say, no, this is not right, this is not resonating with my being, this is not who I am, I'm going to do this out of love, even though I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to do this out of faith, and I'm just going to see. Just think of it as an experiment. I've got to know what's going to happen if I just go on faith, if I let it all go and just do this. You know, I just have to see, and I think you'll find that it's always the greatest choice, and that anytime you do anything out of fear, you pretty much always regret it, and you already know it, and you're already telling yourself in your mind, as you're going to this place of fear, out of fear, you're like, you know, I shouldn't be doing this. You have all this conflict in your mind. There's pretty much no conflict if you know you're doing the right thing. You know you're not doing the right thing, and that's why there's turmoil in your head, and you've got these voices screaming at you, you know, and you've got like all these conversations in your head with yourself about just whatever, about how bad this situation is, about how you screwed up again, and all that. And it's because you know you made the wrong decision. But if you do things out of love, then you just feel great, and it's so much easier to be connected and to just see the beauty in everything else. And you'll start to really feel who you are, who you truly are. You know, your absolute authenticity. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more videos on Fraternalism, spirituality, and natural living, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.